We are here living the authentic life with this amazing, good-looking, cool guy, Danny Shaftel. We are both in the jewelry business, but we're very friendly competitors. They really focus on beautiful, more modern pieces, diamonds, incredible. Your hot wife, work with your family.
Right.
And didn't inherit, bought the business from your dad. And so you have led a very full life to the place that we're here to talk about today.
Yep.
In the vein of health and wellness. And Rob mentioned to me about a week ago, he's like, Danny's selling peptides. I'm like, what are peptides? And in fact,
like everybody says, yep.
And so Danette and I were kind of talking about what are peptides. I'm like, what do you think a definition of a peptide is? She's like, I don't know, stem cells. So I looked it up, and it's like all these technical things, but it is about how the medicine and the wellness and the health and the rejuvenation of the body and being in this season of life, aging, empty nester. I'm hyper focused on this, and I can't wait to pick your brain and hear how you got into all of this.
Yeah, so jewelry and peptides. Like, what is the connection?
They make you look better? They make you feel better?
Better sales.
The emotion is the same, right?
Yeah, so two totally different things. So people ask me, when I tell people I started a new business, they're like, oh, another jewelry store? Like you open a new location? Which, no, that didn't happen. But, as far as peptides go, why did I get into peptides? I've always been into health, wellness my whole life.
Look at this man. If we could just figure out, Rob, this is the goal. He doesn't listen to podcasts, so we can talk about it.
Oh, so then we're going to have to just invade his space and force it on him.
Yes.
But yeah, so it's been a lifelong interest of mine. So from the time I was in middle school, I started working out, played sports, started lifting weights in 8th grade, and it's just been something that I do every day. I try to do something every day and just, try to keep generally healthy. So it was about 3 or 4 months ago when I started seeing all these ads for peptides and same like you, I'm like, what the hell are peptides? It's just all these little vials and, I don't take steroids. I'm not taking hormone treatment. This is crazy. I don't know why they're targeting me. And then I had a couple friends reach out and they're like, hey, have you heard of BPC 157? I'm like, yeah, it pops up on my Instagram. I'm like, I have no idea what it is. So he starts telling me it's the future of medicine. And this is one of my crazy friends, right? He's like one of these guys, conspiracy guy. And he's going to, I'm like, all right, I kind of blow it off. And then one day I'm sitting and I look it up and it was interesting, right? So what are peptides, right? Peptides, it's this word that people hear and they don't really know. So I go down that rabbit hole. What the hell are peptides, right? And originally I thought it was like testosterone, right? You're going through hormone treatment. Like for a man, you want TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, and you inject testosterone in your body, which then forces your testes to eventually shut down and stop producing testosterone naturally. So you're actually putting in the hormone directly. So peptides are different in that you're not injecting a hormone or a medicine or, researching with medicines, right? So peptides are actually, you can think of them of little like little messengers for your body. So a peptide is a small portion of an amino acid. Amino acids are the building block of proteins. So it's just a small little part of a protein that has specific directions for your body. So it goes in and it tells your body, okay, I'm going to need you to produce more collagen, right? We're going to protect your tendons, your ligaments. I sense some inflammation, and these peptides go to those sources of inflammation or whatever they do. There are hundreds of peptides. They all do different things, but it's essentially little messengers. So little instructions, hey, go to this part of the body, do this thing, and do only that thing. And it's not an external substance. It's something that your body already produces. So it just kind of kicks your body into gear. Oh, okay, I got to do this now, or I'm not doing enough of that. Let's start doing more of this, right? So it's super interesting in that it's not like you have a headache, you pop a Tylenol, headache goes away.
And you're adding medicine.
Right.
When I asked GPT, it said it influences your body what to do. And I love that. It's not giving your body something, it's influencing your natural body to do what it's supposed to do.
Right.
Which is in essence similar to what stem cells are intended to do. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, but related.
But related to the extent that stem cells affect the cell growth and peptides encourage your body to do what it was meant to do.
Right.
Maybe at a younger age or maybe never.
Yeah, exactly. So stem cells and peptides together are a booming industry, and I believe that it's going to shape the way that medicine moves going forward.
And they're not all created equal.
They're not all created equal, and you can't just start
I'm going to pick the cheapest peptide. You can't trust everything out there.
Right. So the reason I got into this business, not because I just like health and wellness and I thought it was cool, but I started looking at the actual industry, and you can get peptides from from a wellness clinic, or, insulin is a peptide, right? It's a peptide, and people don't think of that. It's just something that was useful, and they discovered that it allowed your body to produce insulin, and it's a peptide. Semaglutide is a peptide that is branded as Ozempic, or tirzepatide is another peptide, and those are the weight loss drugs. Those are the ones that everybody knows about. So people hear peptides, they see them on commercials, and so you've got this whole other family, or many other families of peptides that do all these incredible things. But again, it's not like you can just buy these, and you really should do some homework. You should speak to a doctor, right? You should get your blood tested. You should take caution with anything that you're doing for health, right? For any supplement you're taking, you really shouldn't just take it blindly, right? You should do some homework. So on our website, one of the focuses was information. So for every product, there's in-depth research articles. They're shorter, they're not pages and pages, but it's really good information about what each peptide does, the mechanism of action, and just information, right? You can look through there. We have references for other research articles. So that to me was important, that people know what they're buying. They know that it comes from a reliable source, that they're not just buying some cheap stuff overseas that's branded nicely and just the label slapped on it, but it's tested. It's tested in smaller batches, because these things are made by the thousands. So you want to be careful. You want to buy from reputable sources. And it's just like the Wild West. So I am looking to solve that problem, instead of just...
I reached out to you because I have been taking a non-branded weight loss peptide. Yeah. But I've been having a lot of side effects from it. And because of the magnitude of side effects, I got a vial that I had a prescription for in December, and now it's September, and I'm still using that same one because I couldn't find the right time to be nauseous and to not sleep and to have all the side effects that went with it. Yeah. And you educated me that from your research, there are other options. Right. Can you talk about some of those technicalities?
Right. So again, every peptide does something different. So what the GLP-1s do is it basically tells the body...
Is that like an Ozempic?
That's like the Ozempics, tirzepatides, all those. Yeah. Okay. So it actually tells your body that you're full by kind of waking up that... There's a chemical that let me back up. When you finish eating, you feel full, right? So that feeling of fullness is actually a chemical in your body telling you that, yes, you're full. So what these GLP-1s do is they trigger that same signal to tell your body that you're full. Your digestion slows down a little bit. If you take too much, it can slow down a lot of it, and you get constipated, and it's not good. So you really have to be careful with the dosing, the balance, and a lot of times people don't get hungry, and when they eat, they're not prioritizing their protein, they're not prioritizing their fiber, they're not prioritizing the right types of foods. And you got to remember to drink a lot of water because your body's digesting slower. So you really have to take them with caution. They're great. They're doing all these incredible things for your body, for the heart, for cardiovascular health, for insulin regulation. It's amazing. but they're not miracle drugs. You still have to take caution, right? You still have to.
And it cracks me up when people say, oh, it's such a cop-out to do something like that. Because I don't think any proactive thing that you do is easy. And I certainly didn't find it to be easy. And what you're saying about balancing all these other, so you're taking this, but you have to do this and this and this and this and this for it really to work and not mess up your system and send you into other medical issues that then have to be repaired, like gastro issues and so it's complicated.
It is complicated.
Nothing is a quick fix.
Right. So it's just like anything else. You know, you can, if you're exercising and you're only exercising and you're eating, fast food all day, you're not going to lose weight. You're still going to be unhealthy. If you're exercising and eating healthy, you're going to be healthier. You're going to feel better. And if you're doing those things and you're doing, the right peptide regimen, right? That just adds to the benefit. So you can't just pick one of these elements and expect it to work. It's just like anything else. You're taking something to help, not to be a miracle. So you still have to, move your body, eat well. Sleep.
Yes,
Huge.
and we talked a lot about that with Sharon, our first podcast guest. She also talked about aging women and protein. And I feel like men have always been aware of the need for protein.
Right.
And you guys have been more conscious about it. But there was, in studying blue zones where people live to be 100-year-old,
and healthy.
They're healthy. They eat a lot of plant-based, but you have to have the protein too to have the energy.
Yeah.
And the other side effect I've seen for me and in other people is that I feel like my body's changing. It's leaner, but I feel like my skin is sagging a little, and some of the muscle that I created isn't as noticeable as before because the muscle generation isn't happening. So there's another option with the peptide that you have that can also help with muscle building, because I'm going to yoga 3 to 5 days a week.
Yeah, you're doing the right things.
I'm doing the right things. I'm eating less. I'm eating proteins. I'm sleeping more. I'm drinking water. And I still see this change that I don't like.
Yeah. So, and so GLP-1s are not for everybody, right? Some people love them and they work great, and some people hate them. But these other peptides, they work in different ways. It's not, yes, some of them can help with hunger but it's not there to make you not eat and to slow down digestion. Instead, they're ones that can kind of speed up metabolism and, improve cellular health and just get your body, your metabolism, your energy where it should be. And then those things come, your metabolism works better, you get better workouts, you sleep better. And it's just kind of an overall health thing rather than targeting one specific thing like hunger or weight loss. You get the benefits, but you also get the other things with it.
The overall.
Yeah.
But it takes a while. Again, it's not going to be a quick fix. So you said in about 3 or 4 weeks, you'll start to tell me what?
You start, so depending, again, on the peptide.
Right.
Usually you have to do a few weeks course to start noticing improvements. And then, some peptides, 2 to 3 months, you really start to see differences. Some like BPC 157, people say that their pain, their inflammation, their knees, their shoulders, their back, the pain just goes away. And the inflammation goes down, your body starts feeling these areas.
It's individual. It's like individual. Any medication.
Right.
No one's going to get the exact same response.
Right.
And you might be fighting inflammation, but you might be eating all the wrong foods.
Right. Yeah. So what I recommend is before doing something like this, do your homework, look on a website, look around. ChatGPT is a great resource if you prompt it correctly.
Oh, yes. I've also learned this, that it is a thought partner, not a thought leader.
Correct.
Because it gives you misinformation.
Right.
And I have turned to it a lot. And I have to say, no, that's not the direction I'm going, or you have to catch it.
And it's like, oh, you're right. I'm like, well, why did you
tell me that to begin with? Yeah.
So you got to be careful, especially when you're talking about things like this. But, there's a lot of information out there, and there are tons of legitimate research studies that, and the question eventually goes back to, well, why isn't this FDA approved? Why is it for research use only? Well, can you imagine spending hundreds of millions of dollars to approve a BPC 157 and cool, okay, FDA approves it, good to go, and then anybody can make it. So there's no interest for a big pharmaceutical company or the government or anybody with that money to push, because that's one peptide. BPC 157, for example, that's one peptide, 3, 4, 500 million, I don't know what it costs, but it's hundreds of millions of dollars.
And it takes years to get FDA approval.
And it takes years.
And millions?
Hundreds to
get it submitted and passed and all that.
And so it doesn't make sense. So you're stuck with this kind of gray area of things that work, but things that are also unregulated because nobody wants to make the investment because there's no return. So I don't know if that's ever going to change, but in the meantime, there are plenty of researchers and scientists and people experimenting with these things and coming out with all this incredible research that's available. But it kind of stops there. There's not really the next step of getting these on the shelves and selling them in stores. So, here we are, and that's just kind of the country and the world we live in. My controversial opinion is shared by many, and that, big companies, big pharma want to keep people sick. What would be the point of helping you heal your shoulder by doing something cheap and effective? When surgery is an option, when medication's an option, when you get thousands of dollars and insurance wants you to do that, so it's a crazy system. And the more that I dug into it, the more that I was learning these things, and the more I saw how effective these things were, and just what a mess this industry is. It's like, all right, like the diamond business, you want to get a DVS2 3-carat round diamond, excellent cut. Are you going to go to, I don't know, the corner of some New York street and buy it from the guy, and he's, you trust him that's a DVS2 3-carat excellent cut? No, you go to a legitimate dealer, you get something that has been certified by GIA, which is the strictest lab. You want to find somebody that you trust. You want to work with somebody that is getting the things from the right places and is not going to screw you and cares about your best interests. And that wasn't happening. It was just this mess of websites everywhere, and it's the cheapest, it's just like a race to the bottom. Oh, I got the cheapest peptides. And then you look and they don't have certificates of, they don't have COAs. They don't have third-party testing to tell you that this is what you think you're getting, and it's this purity, and it has no foreign chemicals and things that can be dangerous. So it was so messy, and I'm like, you know what? I know business. I know how to build a website. I know I know production. I know I can do all these components, and it's something that I'm super interested in, and so I just did it.
And I love that when I sent you all these questions, one of the things I also said is we travel all the time.
Yeah.
And to have an injectable daily, I was concerned about how I would be able to have access to that daily with the refrigeration.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that.
So I went through the same thing, and I went to Amazon, and again, people need to take their insulin. You can't travel and not take your insulin, and there are certain things.
And that has to be refrigerated?
Yeah, when it's reconstituted, it has to be refrigerated. So
okay, and tell them what reconstituted was, because I didn't know what that was till last night when I watched your video.
Yeah, so when that I made just before I sent it to you, because everybody kept asking me. I set up a camera.
It gave me what I needed to know.
Yeah, it was pretty cheesy. We're gonna work on that.
Okay, good. Doris, we got something for you.
Yeah, we got something for you. What was I even talking about?
Reconstituted.
Okay, reconstitution.
What does that even mean?
Okay,
so it comes
form. Yeah, it comes in a lyophilized powder, which is freeze-dried peptide, right? And the reason it's freeze-dried is because it will last for years in that form at room temperature. You can freeze it; it'll last longer, but I mean, you don't need to keep these for years. But so that keeps it fresh. And so to actually use it, you have to reconstitute it. You have bacteriostatic water. It comes in a vial about that big. Fill up the syringe, and then inject that into the freeze-dried powder, the peptide.
And you don't shake it.
You don't shake it.
Which I thought was interesting.
You don't shake it because they are little microscopic structures, right? They're like little chains.
You don't want to damage
You don't want to
them.
break the chains. They can, you know.
Oh, I really wanted to shake it.
Yeah, don't shake it.
It would make it better.
it dissolves pretty quickly.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's that, and then from there, that's what you
refrigerate.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you travel, you want to keep it refrigerated, and they have these cool little travel packs that I'll start selling on the website once I find a good manufacturer. But you freeze these little. It's like when you bust your knee and you put one of those ice packs on. It's a refreezable thing, and you stick those little things in the pack and take a carry on. It's not an issue.
So another thing for me is that I feel like I'm slipping cognitively to the point that I can't recall people's names. I can't recall where I put things. I'm 57. I think that starts to happen. I think stress can also bring that on, but there's also some things that help with that. I thought really the only thing that in my research I could do was get stem cells. And we work with Hope Bioscience. I have my stem cells frozen, but it's an expensive process to go through that, and not everyone has access. Tell us a little bit about that option.
So there are options. NAD Plus is a good one.
Yes, I've heard about that.
It's great.
For years.
Yeah, for mitochondrial
You can go get it in infusions as an IV.
And those are great. IVs work really well.
But that takes a lot of time to go get an IV.
It takes like an hour or two, and it's expensive, and you have to do it, I don't know, once a week, once every couple of weeks, whatever it is. So it's a commitment. This is way easier, the peptide, and it's pretty nearly as effective, not quite as IV, but it's pretty close, and it's way easier, and it's great for mitochondrial health, energy, sleep, recovery. It's it's a naturally occurring molecule in the body that this peptide, or it's actually not a peptide, it's a compound, but it...
this is a compound.
This is a compound, and it...
So you call these are the supplements to the peptides?
Not a supplement to the peptide. Okay. It's a slightly different thing. It is, okay. Yeah, but it is... Yeah, MOTS-C is another one that does very similar things. Okay. MOTS-C. Great for mitochondrial health, energy, memory, focus. Selenk and C-Max are another one specifically for cognitive function, mood, anxiety, and they work.
Do they make you fall in love with your husband more? There's
oxytocin for that.
Ooh.
And PT-141. Oxytocin is actually a peptide. And so those are all available. PT-141 is kind of the next.
So those make you more amorous, or they take the edge off, or what do they do?
It's more of a connectivity thing, right? You think about when your oxytocin levels are high, when you're being intimate, or you feel or you're just around people that you love, right? It doesn't have to be your partner, and you just feel this closeness, this warmth, this connection, and that's what oxytocin is. Wow. So there's that, and then there's PT-141, which is kind of the for men and women, kind of the sexual health one, where
blue pill.
It's not the blue pill, but it's kind of an overall. It's good for intimacy. It's good for men, for women. It's interesting.
So how many peptides could one take effectively and not burn out on just...
It can be a lot. It can be a lot. Yeah. So, and that's what I tell people. Yes, you've got all these things that do all these great, and you want to try everything, but you should focus on what are your goals? Is it to lose a little weight? Is it to increase energy? Am I not sleeping well? And if you can kind of bundle a few of those together and figure out what one or two peptides will help that, instead of okay, there's 6 that do this, I'm going to try 6, and then I need energy, so let's go with NAD. You're going to spend hours messing with this. So what you can do is you can kind of cycle through them, do a course of 1, see how you feel. Not everybody's going to like everything. See how you feel with certain ones, and then maybe try something else if you didn't like those, or stick with that, right? So you can, you don't have to take everything all at once. And if you do, you don't really know what's working, right? Because it's like anything else, you're trying to do all these healthy things, and you can't pinpoint the ones that are actually working. and it might be the combination of things, sure. But with peptides, I think you want to really just focus on certain goals and pick some that fit those goals, that'll help you with those goals. And then if you want to try something else, you can cycle off those, try something new. Probably not a good idea to do everything at once.
Yeah. And then some are at night, some are in the morning. What's the mindset behind that?
So for the ones like NAD and MOTC and the ones that are good for, just kind of overall energy, definitely in the morning. You don't want to be up, at night. And then other ones are good, like the Tesmorelin, for example. It's good on an empty stomach or just for absorption. And then BPC 157 for gut health. If you take it in the morning in your stomach, that's also good for gut health on an empty stomach. So, but that's one that you can use anywhere on your body, and it helps for aches, pains, injuries, surgery, recovery. Let's say you just have a surgery and you've got a wound, right? You've got stitches. A lot of these peptides will heal that area and heal the surgical site way quicker. ACL surgery, TB 500, BPC 157, friend of mine just had surgery, so he's using those to help heal and recover, along with physical therapy. Again, nothing's a miracle, you have to do everything else, but I think it's really going to speed up his healing. And his doctor was on board. He mentioned it to him. He said,
okay, interesting. Because I wonder how doctors feel about this. I even see the hesitation with stem cells with some doctors.
They're not trained for it, right?
No, this isn't part of what they're given as a formula for health.
Right. Now, I have been talking to a lot of doing this. I've spoken to so many scientists. When I was starting this business, I reached out to the entire Rice University chemistry department, and I'm like telling them what I'm doing. Can you help me with this? Is this something you can? I wanted to be the manufacturer.
Okay.
I know how to manufacture jewelry. I know processes, systems, and all that. So I'm like, I can do this. So I called the whole department, and they're like, yes, you can do it.
And they took your call?
They took my call, and we had great conversations.
That's
these guys were brilliant, guys and girls.
Incredible.
And so they gave me good advice, and they're all very helpful, and they knew what I was trying to do. And while they could do it, their labs are not set up for commercial production, so they kind of pointed me in directions. So, but it was interesting. And so I spoke to a lot of doctors, friends, and just customers and people I know, and including the, well, I shouldn't say that. I wasn't going to name names. But anyway, and people, most of the response was, yes, I'm definitely familiar with them. We don't use them in our practice because they're not FDA approved, so we can't. However, if you go see that guy, he can talk to you about it. So Western medicine, FDA, big pharma, they're just certain things you can't recommend. As a doctor, you just can't, right? But I see promise in certain things. Go see these people. They'll be able to walk you through it and give you more information, wellness clinics. So they're recognizing it. And then other doctors are just a flat out, nope, we don't mess with that stuff. You just, it's not enough research and this and that. There is for a lot of these things. You just have to look for it. So it's kind of a mixed bag. I'm curious to see how this plays out over the next 5-10 years.
So inflammation, our daughter Bella has been on a health journey, and a big part of her pain has come from inflammation.
Yeah.
So it seems like that's tied to, she has hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos, but also I would suspect arthritis or MS.
Yeah.
So do you have different peptides that help people deal with their pain based upon their chronic illnesses? And how are you finding that those organizations can come on board and recommend this as options? But that's possibly, big.
Yeah, so that's definitely out of my wheelhouse, and I'm not a doctor. I don't, give medical advice. But for something like that, definitely talk to your doctor. And if that particular doctor if that's not something that he or she is familiar with or doesn't want to mess with, just call around, look around, see if, because there is something there. I mean, it helps inflammation.
For example, we went and met with Texas Children's Rheumatology, and we said we have put her on a low histamine diet because histamines cause inflammation. And they said, oh, we don't recommend that. How has that worked? I'm like, what? You're rheumatology at Texas Children's and you haven't thought? And believe me, there's great doctors there and they do what they can with what they're given. And then they're asking us to tell them about what we found.
It's crazy. That's always
truly.
That's always bothered me so much. I mean, food is medicine. The
gut affects so much health.
Yeah, I've never understood that. As a doctor who's there to help, right? How can you discount diet and what you put into your body and what it's all one big happy family. It's all related. Yes, your diet may not cure X, Y, and Z, but it sure as heck can help, right? And same with so many other things. If something helps inflammation and inflammation is the enemy here, why don't we explore options, right? I mean, we've taken the medications.
And what do you have for inflammation? What peptide?
So there's several. Actually, inflammation is a big one for several. And, I can list several and I'll
we can get back on that.
We can get back on that. But BPC 157 again, TB 500 are others. NAD plus is also holistically.
That's all inclusive. Okay.
But yeah, there are several for inflammation, but I feel like that's something way more specific. I mean, a doctor would be able to guide you better there.
Okay.
But there are plenty for inflammation for sure.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's some of these things where the magnitude of incidence of these illnesses is not such that a drug company can invest in a way to solve it.
It's not enough money.
There's not enough money, so it just goes unsolved. And even it took us 6 years we started in 6th grade, and so that's not 6 years, that's 5 years, 6th to 11th grade, to get her diagnosed.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just, there's this hole in medicine, not because there's not an interest, not because they don't want to help. I do believe doctors want to help.
Yeah.
I do believe Big Pharma wants to keep giving their medication, but if it doesn't fall within that, what can we do?
Right.
And I'm glad that there's some options out there. So is it homeopathic doctors? What type of doctors?
Yes, wellness clinics.
People consult with to get to that? Like we found people thinking outside the box.
Right.
But had to really search for that.
Right. Right. And you do, unfortunately. You really have to search for it, and you have to take your own health into your own hands, to trust that your insurance or the system is going to take care of you is crazy.
Yes.
So, I mean, you saw how long it took to get a diagnosis, and yes, they want to help. Yes, they want to be better. Like, they want to get you the right medication. They want to get you what you need. But again, there's that gap because, okay, this illness or whatever it is affects such a small population. Why would we focus on this when we've got cancer? We've got all these other things. I mean, who cares about this small? Like, overall, we're not going to get our money back if we focus on drugs for this. Yes, we'll help save these people, but we're not going to get our money back.
Big Pharma's a business. Yes.
So it's crazy. So I've just always been into alternative medicines and just different, just keeping it simple. Just good diet, move your body, get good sleep. Nobody's perfect, right? I mean, Lord knows that I make myself crazy with all the stuff I got going on. And you were just talking about that. We've got all kinds of stuff going on. So you try to, be healthy and you try to keep things together. And, who's got time to be sick and go to doctors? You just want to maintain a general healthy lifestyle. And
you spent a lot of time in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Do you find that people in those communities eating less processed food are healthier and living?
Yes, for sure. Iris tells me growing up, in Costa Rica, there weren't the McDonald's and the fast food restaurants, and every day her mom or her dad, usually her dad, would go to the market, bring back groceries for the day or for the morning, and that was it. You go to the store, you get fresh food. And the crazy thing was, she was telling me that was for the normal people. The rich people were buying all the crap. They were the first ones to buy all the processed crap and all these packaged foods. And she was like, we never bought a box of cereal, because they were so expensive. It was a crazy amount for this American branded, colorful, sugary cereal. And my parents weren't going to do that. Spend all this money for crap.
Yes.
No, you want something sweet, go eat fruit. Like, or,
Right.
you know, whatever they had. But
Right.
little, you know, cakes and things. But yeah, it's a different lifestyle. And it's, anyway, I just felt like I wanted to go on a mission to give people options, right? To at least something to explore. It's so interesting, and it's so world changing. I mean, you've got, I think the big things now, you've got AI, which to me is the equivalent of discovering electricity. It's going to change the world in ways we just can't imagine. Right? And then what goes with that is quantum computing, which is a whole different thing. But then medicine, you've got stem cells, you've got peptides, you've got AI in medicine that tells you, you know, what peptides or stem cells or drugs you can use and get better readings on mammograms or, you know, whatever it is. You can detect things so much sooner with all these exciting things that are happening now. I really think that it's, I don't know. I think it's the next 5 to 10 years are going to be super interesting to see where all this takes us in everything, in technology and lifestyle, health, transportation. I mean, it's just exciting times, and I wanted to get in on this part of it.
And how does one manage being an active father, running a business, and then starting a new business? I guess you ask the busiest person in the room to do something, and they're the one that's going to get it done.
Yeah. So I like to drive myself crazy. I like to stay busy, but also when I have an idea and I think it's going to work, I would rather drive myself crazy trying to solve a problem or do something big and creative and start a business than just think, you know, what if I, you know, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I'm not a shoulda, coulda, woulda. I saw an opportunity here, and you just figure it out. You jump into something and you figure it out. Okay, you need help doing this or that. Who around me can I get to do this? So for this business, the way I'm able to manage this is AI. I have used AI extensively to plan, to figure out the right insurance, who to contact, you know, just how to structure the website, everything. So that's like, I mean, it's
incredible,
infinitely scalable, right? So you have an idea, go to AI. How do I do this? Oh, this. Okay, this doesn't look right. Change that. Okay, here's the game plan, and just do it. And then.
But I think the other thing is you put the time and effort into the research.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people love health and wellness and just say, I'm going to do this, but don't reach out to all these scientists that you didn't, because you put the 10,000 hours in, the Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours, because it was your passion project. And I find that fascinating. I'd love to have guests who came up with something they're passionate about and created a business around it, because passion isn't the only reason a business work, but you have to be able to do it nonstop. Like the times you were texting me back, the places you were texting me from, like you literally work nonstop. And that's what we do in the jewelry industry already. So it wasn't like we were 9 to 5. So it's not like a change,
right? It's just one more question to answer.
One more widget.
But
it's probably putting you in touch with your clients, because most of your clients who can afford to buy beautiful things are probably older and probably also moving into a stage of life that wellness is important. You also do a lot with some of the sports teams in town. They're obviously very focused.
Right.
And I think a lot of celebrities are getting behind this, and people with Instagram now are wanting to live the life that they see other people living so good.
And there's a lot of hype, a lot of products that are a lot of hype, and this really isn't hype. I mean, this works. So that's what's exciting. There's so many things that I could have gotten into and made a quick buck and gotten out because there's this hype, right? I mean, NFTs. I don't know if you know what an NFT is, right?
God, I still can't understand that.
If
you're buying into something you don't get to hold. I'm just too much of a person that buys and sells things.
I know, it's
I
crazy.
Cannot.
And yes,
I'm like part of a piece of art that doesn't exist anywhere.
And you got no control over the direction of the market. It's crazy, but people made a ton of money. And so this, my point is, this wasn't that. It wasn't just. I don't think it's just a flash in the pan. I think it's here, and it's here to stay, and it's just going to keep growing. But no, I mean, as far as getting everything done, At Shaftel Diamonds, we got a great team. Can't do it all by myself, although, each one of us does a lot, and I certainly do a ton. But just have good people that can support, that you can pass things off to, that is not your core priority, right? You figure out what is in your core arena. That's what I focus on. And if other things try to get in that don't, okay, you figure out where those go. And so with this business, so I'm working on that, right? That's my day to day, is just doing what I have to do, pushing off what I don't have to do. And for this business, it was all me. It was my idea. It was my creation. So what I did is I have developers overseas that, I spent a lot of time finding the right developers. They work US hours. They're on it. They've got their team. So I have an idea. This is what I want done. Their team does it, right? I have some questions. I'm trying to think through something. AI helps me think through it. I trained a GPT model, everything about me, everything about all my businesses. And so I go to these different logins, these different models, and all of my brain dump is there, all of my planning, all the ideas, to train it to know everything about peptides. And so I can just pop in a question, and it has all that background, all that history about me, my mission, my everything. And it just, it gives me a targeted response.
But the hard thing is, do you want it to know, then it can share all that with everyone else?
So
how do you feel about that?
I don't care.
Because you have to have your energy with it.
Yeah, I just, my stuff's out there. I mean, if somebody hacks Google, we're all screwed. If
Oh, so it's private. You can make it private.
It's private.
You don't dump it where everybody can access it.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you pay for whatever's, ChatGPT is one of many AI, programs. So you can log in, and it's protected, right? Your information doesn't go out.
But it is protected.
Yeah.
You're not adding more information than everyone can access.
I have a feeling it kind of goes out there, but I want to think that the stuff that is under my account is at least anonymous. I don't know. That's my hope. Meanwhile, I'm going to use it. I don't know. I'm not going to not use it because I'm worried about the Russian hackers.
No, I think
I'm not that interesting of a person, I don't think.
Well, we think you are.
Well, thank you.
Our listeners think you are.
But
all right. Well, our time is coming to an end. Is there any final thing that you want to share with people? Any myth, anything to overcome?
No, I think
any parting words.
I think just I really think we covered it all. But no, if you want more information, check out our website and just poke around.
Tell them the website.
Prolivenlabs.com. That's PROLIVEN labs.com. Proliven Labs.
Love it.
AI, help me.
Good.
There's an AI name, and it sounded good. Click, done.
Perfect. All right.
But anyway, thank you so much. This is fun.
It was fun. All right, guys. Next time you see me, I will be lean and so on it, I won't forget your name.
That's right.
Okay.
And she and Rob are going to try that PT 141.
Ooh, look out, Rob.